You are listening to Clear Your Cache podcast. Viewer discretion is advised since we use words like shit and fuck. Not to worry. Comedy content, funny content, interesting facts. Please enjoy.
Perfect.
That hurt.
Welcome back to Clear Your Cache podcast.
Hello, everybody. My name is Danielle.
My name is Sydney. You didn't get your wine. My jaw just popped.
I heard it.
Oh no.
It's all right. You know what? What I'll do is when we cut to sponsor, I will go get the wine.
Okay.
I will go get the wine when we cut to sponsor.
Cut to sponsor.
All right.
So we're gonna do a little different because you gotta find your groove and your rhythm, and we're just starting. So we're
We just recorded for 30. We recorded for 30 minutes and realized that it wasn't recording in her mic, so we had to just like completely erase
30
everything.
30 minutes of Daniel talking to nothing.
Yes.
The recording was funny as shit played back, but so we're gonna have Caitlin read us her 2 questions first. That was good.
Thank you.
And we're gonna talk about them, just for change. You got to find your groove.
Just
we don't know
yet. Shits and giggles.
Yeah, we don't know yet. We might like this better.
Yeah, get some warm up. Caitlin's gonna have a job to do every single time we film.
Get a little warm up. All right, give us our first question. What do you have for us?
Okay. Does a straw have 2 holes or 1?
Does a straw have 2 holes or 1? What are your thoughts?
I think
Is it 1 hole that just goes all the way through?
it's 1 hole that goes all the way through.
So what happens if you pinch the middle of the straw? Then does it have 2 holes?
Or just a hole with a kink in it.
That's not a hole.
But, okay. I feel like I need to know how they're made, because if they're 2 pieces and they get stuck together, then that technically it was 2 holes.
I feel like it's just a flat thing and they just roll it.
No, it's just 1 hole.
I feel like there's 2 entry points, so there's 2 holes.
But see, I feel like there's 1 hole because it goes all the way through.
Well, it's just
what's a hole?
It's just a cylinder, right? I think it still has 2 holes.
Okay, is it a tunnel with like 2 holes that what's a hole?
I don't know. I think it has 2 holes.
Is the hole the actual opening and not the tubular part?
I'm pretty sure. I think it's just 2 holes connected. You got a hole in your mouth and a hole in your ass, and if you stood right, they'd line up perfect. But it's 2 holes.
Okay, that's fair. Because if there's like 2 black holes, they're connected like that, but there's 2 holes.
But I don't think it would be 2 black holes. I think it's just...
That's just 1 hole?
I mean, I don't think there's 2 holes to a black hole, right?
I thought there was.
There might be. I don't know.
I have no idea. I don't know.
I say 2 holes.
Do you have the answers?
Is there a correct
You don't have answers.
What?
Bye.
I think it's 2.
I don't know anymore. You don't have answers.
My final answer is 2. I can see both sides.
I'm gonna say 2, even though it's against my original judgment.
I'm going to say 2, even though it's 1.
You provided me with logic when I couldn't give you any.
Yeah, it was the best logic on the table, so that's what I'm going with right now. We might change our mind later.
Okay, I'll accept that.
Second question.
Would you rather have no taste buds or be colorblind? Explain.
Oh, Cody's already colorblind, so
I
it doesn't
think
seem that
it's
bad.
Completely colorblind, like black and white.
I would. I don't like to eat a lot.
Okay.
Like, I'm not big on food.
I think this is surprising to me because I like to eat, but I think I would pick no taste buds because of the simple fact that if I couldn't see colors, I wouldn't be able to edit. I wouldn't be able to do anything that I actually like to do. And if I couldn't have taste buds, then that means I could actually eat all the healthy stuff that I hate.
Yeah, and it wouldn't matter.
It wouldn't matter, and but the texture is still going to be there.
I think I would do the no taste buds thing too, because I'm already bland as fuck.
I like a good sauce,
I hate sauce.
which is the part that's bad for me because you don't condiment.
I don't condiment at all. Like, I will rarely condiment, and it's very specific circumstances.
Does crackers and chili count as a condiment?
I don't think so. I think those are two foods. I'm not just putting chili on a turkey sandwich. You know what I
I
mean?
feel like that was a little bit of a stretch into
That's what you do with
proving your point.
condiments, though. Like,
Okay. That is what you do with condiments, but a food can be a food and a condiment.
name one.
Crackers.
That's That's a food.
but it can also be a condiment, right?
How?
Because you put the
Explain.
crackers in the chili.
That just means you put two foods together. You can chop up hot dogs and put it in chili too. That doesn't make it a condiment.
I almost said, well, they condiment each other.
A compliment. He's confused. No, I'd definitely go no taste buds. For sure.
I would do no taste buds.
Crackers. It's
It's the best condiment
No.
I've ever had.
What is your favorite condiment?
Ranch dressing. Yeah.
Yeah, I could see that.
It's either ranch or blue cheese. I love blue cheese.
I love blue cheese.
You like blue cheese?
Oh, I love it.
I like blue cheese and goat cheese. Mm-hmm. And I surprisingly like them on a steak.
You got that from me.
The goat cheese, yeah.
Yeah. Blue cheese on a burger.
I like that. Whenever I went, it was a really long time ago, I went with Abby and her boyfriend down to Gatlinburg on vacation. And I got a steak that had blue cheese in a blue cheese sauce that was drizzled all over the steak. And it was the best sauce I've ever had in my life.
What's the place we went to? The Grumpy Monk.
I've
This
never heard of
burger,
that.
when I tell you, I would die for it. I mean it.
Okay, I have an important question.
Mm-hmm.
Where are the glasses that are supposed to be on my face?
We're missing them. You'll have to get that when you get the wine.
Okay.
Can you see?
A little bit.
Are you colorblind?
There's not a lot going for me right
I
now.
don't have a lot going for me either. It's okay. So,
Oh, goodness.
2 holes and no taste buds. We're in agreement.
Yes.
All the way around.
So far. Are those the only 2 questions? Are you got another
That's
one?
it. No, we're doing 2. That's it.
All
Your
right.
time's done. You served your purpose. Get a job. So let's see if we agree on this then. So today, March 30th,
Yes.
is National Virtual Vacation Day.
Yes.
How you feel about that? What are just your present, like, just right off the
Okay.
cuff thoughts on that?
So I already know exactly what I'm going to say since we filmed this entire segment already. But I mean, it's the same opinion because I used to work at GameStop and everyone would always freak out about the VR systems. And I've always said, if I'm going to do VR, I want like a futuristic, like zero gravity tank that you put me in. And it like literally hooks itself up to my senses to where I know, like I can't tell the difference.
Yeah, which is not possible
No, yet.
yet.
Yeah.
Maybe
I
it'll
mean,
wind up, like, I don't know, VR. I feel like you know Wall-E, when they're all in their little
Wall-E.
chairs and they're just boot scooting around and they're like
Yes.
massive humans.
Yeah, that's where we're gonna go.
You'll have to give me some real good
alive.
VR for me to get that way.
Yeah.
But there
exactly.
you can do VR vacations, which might be in present time the best thing that you can do, so you don't leave your house. Not that you could. You
I
can't.
mean, I
you
would
can't
do
go
it.
on your vacations now.
For recreational
Overseas.
purposes like that, but I would love to do. I want to go to Singapore with the name
Spelunking.
Spurlunkin.
Spelunking
Spurlunkin.
from Kentucky.
The South.
Oh, South.
I hate myself.
But it's all free. all this virtual vacation's free. YouTube's teamed up with a 360-degree camera thing, and you
Yeah.
can go on there and you can go to Disney World, and they got the rides, which you already know, but they got recipes that you can make, so it's like you get the full effect of being there without actually being there, which is not, like I said, it's not for me.
It's not, I mean, it's not for me, but I'm all about the food. I would try the food.
Yeah.
I would love to do the food. I can't cook, but I can bake.
And that's another thing. I feel like if I want to go on vacation, I don't want to have to cook my own snacks.
No.
But we don't have taste buds anymore, so it doesn't matter.
That's 2 holes.
Yep, 2 holes, no taste buds.
If we only had 1 hole, then technically that would mean the food would go in and out the same hole. Worms do that.
Ew.
Okay.
The straws of...
let me go through my thought process on what just happened in my
Let me
brain.
hear that.
So I was like, okay, well, we just talked about 2 holes being 1 hole, or it could be 2 holes, is what went through my head. And then my brain immediately went to, I saw on Animal Planet where worms eat and poop out the same hole, which is their mouth.
Oh, that's not too far of a stretch. It's still weird.
But then
Worms are weird.
I know. But then I was like, do they have 1 hole or 2 holes?
Worms?
Yeah.
You just said they had 1.
Well, I don't know how many they have. I just know they eat and poop out of 1.
They probably only have 1 then. Nobody would choose to go in and out the same hole if you got 2. Just eating shit.
How do they have sex?
I don't know. We know how crabs have sex, though. They got feelers that come out.
Which is disturbing,
fuck,
and
though.
I don't like that.
Yeah, we learned recently that crabs fuck.
I just keep hearing shells.
No different, really, than humans. You hear that noise, too.
True. But except we call it a fap.
Oh, God. I think that's only if you're doing it to yourself. Is it a fap?
Oh, well, okay. Well, I should know that.
Get with it.
Get with the times.
Get with the times. Jesus.
Oh, God.
But, yeah, now might be a good time to explore the virtual vacation side of things since, the corona got everybody indoors. And you're not going overseas on vacation. You're just not.
Oh, no. Like, probably
Like,
not this
there,
year.
Yeah, if you make it there, you're not coming back. So.
No. Like, do they still have, like, people, like, Americans over there that's not allowed to come over here?
I don't know. I'm more worried about what I'm doing over here.
Fair.
There is no like curfew or anything yet. You're just not supposed to gather in large spaces. We're going to work on figuring out how to maybe do separate podcasts from our house. But as of right now, everything's sanitized, including our hands.
Yeah, which you just brought up hands. I've literally, I think since we've clicked the record button, I think that I've touched my face like 20
A million times.
And I think about it every single time. I'm going to have a counter on this video.
I try not to now because since I still have to go to work, like I'm washing my hands like a mad person. Every time I touch something and I even remotely feel like a film, wash them. Sometimes I put gloves on, but I mean, it's not going to do much good if I have the glove on and then I still am touching,
Yeah.
It's just on the glove. So
okay, I get the purpose of gloves. I do. But when you think about it from a biology standpoint, like there's a reason the 5-second rule doesn't work because when a piece of food hits the ground, literally less than a millisecond, there's billions of like different types of bacteria that get it.
Yeah, there's shit in
So
the air.
like if you've got gloves that go up to your wrist and then you don't have anything here and you have exposed skin, then if you touch something infected, my thought process is it's probably going to take less than a millisecond from all the bacteria that's on your glove to just migrate to your open skin.
Doctors have to be like sterile and they like pull the glove all the way up over their shit and they're like, ready, Janet.
Well, yeah, but like that's during either surgery or rectal exams.
Yeah.
So like, yeah, I get that, but like people in the ER, I don't think that they're wearing like the lab coats. like they should be. They probably are, like, during this crisis. There's probably
they're
fucking
running out of
hazmat
them.
suits everywhere.
No, they're running out of shit.
Why can't they? Well, I mean, that's probably self-explanatory, but they need to.
Comes from China. Did you see that?
China?
China. No, but that's what I'm saying. Like, the glove does it. There's really no reason for me to wear the glove because it doesn't matter. Like, I don't have it covering all. Like, it
Yeah. I mean, I get, and I read somewhere, like, I mean, we hand sanitize, but I read somewhere if you don't wash your hands right before you use the hand sanitizer, then it's basically just
spreading
smearing
the
it
germs
around.
I've seen that. I've seen the videos of that where they put it like under a black light and stuff.
Yeah.
Which is why I wash my hands constantly.
Mm-hmm.
We Clorox the shit out of this. We did use hand sanitizer, but like, I'm doing what I'm supposed to. I'm following the rules.
We're doing what we can.
Yeah. I mean, y'all. I'm essential, so I didn't.
Essential
I didn't come up with that.
employee. Not an employee.
I have to go, so it's not my fault.
You got to bring home the bacon.
The infected bacon, which, by the way, is the first thing people go for. I tell you, the meat wall.
The last time I tried to go buy any type of meat, there literally wasn't any. It was gone.
Yeah, no, like we will fill everything to watch it be destroyed in 45 minutes when the doors open.
I would think
Then
that
we
would
get yelled at because we
infuriate
don't
me.
have more.
It's not your fault.
No, it's literally the person who's yelling at me's fault.
Excuse me, I just yawned.
It's okay. It's late.
It is.
We've had a long day. We already did this once. It
I
just
know.
didn't work.
It's okay. Trial and error. When we get
But if-
rich and famous and we buy the top of the line everything, this better not happen.
It better not.
Mm-hmm.
Our receptionist better get on it.
I'm gonna need Caitlin to open up a credit card in her name.
Get us some
upgrade
shit.
all of this equipment.
Get us some shit. When all of this is over, no matter what, I would like a fucking vacation.
Me too. I just got PTSD because
Oh, you had a spider come out.
yeah, well, like there was a piece of fuzz on my computer just now, and this morning I was editing a video. Make a shameless plug. I have a YouTube channel. Link in the description box below. And a fucking spider crawled out of the vent of my MacBook while I was editing. And I grabbed my coffee off the table, stood up, and I took a step back. And
That's what you got to do. Let them have it. Just step back
was
from
bad.
it. It doesn't belong to you anymore. It
Well-
belongs to that spider.
you weren't the most supportive in my emotions because I texted Sydney and told her, and she was like, "What if it laid eggs in the computer?"
Hey,
That-
I don't have to be supportive. I got to be realistic. You gave me a fact,
True.
and I gave you another fact.
We're in this pandemic. We have to be honest.
I got to be real with you. It probably laid eggs in your computer.
Well, we're going to find out, 6 to 8 weeks?
Maybe.
I'm going to throw a guess out there.
I don't know. But if you start getting more of them coming out,
If I wake up and my whole body is covered in spiders,
they can't. You know the
I'm
source.
fucked. Yeah.
You just got to throw that out the window.
I don't know.
It's done. No more MacBook for you.
My little babe.
My wee lad.
My wee lad.
If you could go on one virtual vacation, what do you think would even be worth looking into? Because you can like go to space, Disney World, theme parks, but you can also go through jungles. You can walk the Wall of China, go to like museums.
I would, if it was an option, I think I would do the coral reefs.
That'd be
Great
cool.
Barrier Reef?
That'd be cool because I'm not scuba diving.
No, I'm not going down there, so we might as well just do something that we already know we're not going to do.
Yeah, I'll do the underwater and the outer space virtual reality.
Yes.
Anything else, I kind of want to be there. Like,
Yeah, I mean, I would like to do the Great Wall of China, although I think that maybe we need to get into shape for that.
oh yeah. Virtually, though, we could sit on our asses.
True, and just hit the button when we need to take
Check
steps.
that out like that.
I would do the I think I would do the rainforest virtually instead of going in there because like
Well,
there was
spiders.
there's like statistics that said there was like over 10,000 things in the rainforest that can cause cancer and Like,
Well, this
it was
can
a
cause
lot.
cancer.
That's true.
Everything causes cancer.
But like, there's so many poisonous animals
Yeah.
and insects. What if I get eaten by like a fucking tiger?
I mean, I feel like I shouldn't be in there anyway. Like, that's not my domain. We've already expanded our reach a little too far as human beings, I feel like. So I just feel like maybe the rainforest should be a virtual tour.
that's
you
why
could get like drones in there or something.
That's why COVID's wiping us out.
Yeah.
Mother Earth is like, you know what? You
She
guys
had
just
enough.
fucking suck. Out.
Boom, done. What did I say earlier? You thought the earth was round, but the bitch just squared up. Like,
Yes.
Mother Nature and Mother Earth have squared up on our ass.
They're ready to fucking fight.
And it's taken us out.
We're going down.
And I can't even fault her for it. You're all dead.
Boom.
Out.
It's just like, because I know it target like this virus. I don't know. It kind of seems like very bioengineered though.
Does it?
It's just like when you stop and think about it, I'm like, this is a smart disease. Well, it's a virus, because it lays dormant for 2 weeks. It has an incubation period that is so long that you don't suspect anything, and you don't think to get treatment. You don't know.
Well, that's how they work,
And-
right?
but
Because this isn't the only
the
COVID.
longer. Well, but this is the first like mutated one.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it's
And-
obviously it's smart. Like, because
Yeah.
this is COVID-19 specifically, so that we know that this was the strand of 2019, because it's not the first one.
No,
It just evolved.
but was it the first one that humans can get?
I don't know about that, because I think
Like,
it
I
came
mean-
from like, I think, didn't it used to be like called SARS or something?
Oh, it did.
Yeah.
That's what. Okay.
So it's just evolved.
Okay. And don't come for us in like comments or wherever you're listening or watching this, because we don't have like a big list of facts, and we don't have all of like the perfect information, but this is like interesting to talk about and speculate, because we really don't know, because
Well, I
you
feel
can only
like-
listen to what the media tells you, and they're
I
going to
feel
tell
like
you.
I'm not doing any worse than what the fucking media is doing right now anyway.
No, you're not. And but I feel like we're doing better, because we're flat out coming out and saying, hey, we don't have all of the information,
know.
and we're not going to fucking straight up lie to you on purpose, which is more than what the newscast can say.
But I will say Andy Bashir's been doing great.
He is good.
He's been doing what he needs to do.
Bow down.
Yeah.
To
Because
the
you said,
queen.
like, in Kentucky, it's, like, lower,
Yeah,
like,
we're
we're ahead 22 days or something?
Yeah, it's like statistically we're like 22 days ahead of time. In like the rate of
Like, in
spread and
preparation
infection.
for
And
it.
it's just because everyone's staying home.
Right, and he preemptively did that. So I feel like, like I said, we're not on lockdown or anything, and it may come to that. I don't know. But I have my little certificate in case it does, so that I can get to work and everything. And that was preemptively done, and I feel like it does feel like we're ahead of the curve here.
Yeah, which
But
is
a lot of
nice.
places aren't. So
But I don't know.
I do agree that, that's what viruses do. They mutate and evolve, and that is their purpose.
Yeah.
So
And
of
it's
course they're
just-
going to be smart in their own way.
It's just scary, because you don't know what's going
Yeah.
on or what's going to happen. So just disclaimer, wash your
Very
hands, don't touch your face.
Yep. Don't do that.
Now, word for our sponsor. Today's sponsor is ourselves. Since we are footing all of the bill, we are not too proud to beg, as Wine and Crime Podcast says. So we would like to invite you to join our Patreon, which is www.patreon.com/clearyourcashpodcast. That way you get early episodes, sometimes our notes, and early access to all of our episodes starting in April of 2020. Pretty soon you will have access to make a one-time donation, as well as request topic suggestions if you are a Patreon. All right, so thank you so much for ourselves for donating money, and thank you for donating money in the future if that is something you are interested in. Back to the show.
Damn, boy.
Damn, boy.
Damn, boy.
I can't do it. Can't do it. Damn, boy, he thick.
Well, we got our wine and we got your glasses and our intermission.
Yes.
So now
I'm
you
so
tell
much happier with wine.
you tell me
All right. So
what you got.
my day that I picked from the National Calendar Day.
Day calendar.
Okay, yeah. I still have trouble Googling that. So I decided to go back to our southern roots.
Them roots we got
Them roots.
from playing down in the holler when I was just a youngin'.
In that cave.
Down yonder.
Arrowhead hunting.
Arrowhead hunting down yonder. You gotta pee outside.
Got to take a piss
Gotta take a piss outside.
with my wink. I don't know if people say that. I just said that.
Had to wipe with dirt. I don't wear shoes, so I don't wear socks. Couldn't
I
wipe
actually
with a
didn't
sock.
wear shoes because no matter who the fuck you are, the feeling of fresh cut grass on your feet is just nice.
Feels good.
It's great. Is
What if we really talk
that
like
redneck
that?
of me? Is that a like a country thing?
I don't know. I've only lived here, so I'm not sure.
Fair. Same.
I mean, the kids in high school drove tractors to school once a year. We won't talk about it.
My parking space was beside a big dentist's son, and I drove a 2000 Saturn that didn't have a name after it. It was just literally a 2000 Saturn, and I had to park beside a brand new candy apple red BMW where he would get to school and just lay on the hood of his car until he had to go into the school. So every time I came in the morning, him and whatever girl he was talking to at the time was laying on the hood of the car with him.
Oh, I miss that type of existence. Like just
What?
being completely unaware of anything in life.
He probably
And just
still
no-
isn't.
no
I need
worry.
a drink. Anyways, I'll go back on topic.
Get on our roots here.
Got upset about entitled people.
We'll talk about it.
So the day I chose is actually this coming up Friday, which last week I picked a Friday.
I picked a Monday last week. And I
Did
picked
you?
a Monday this week.
It's a common theme going. It was National
Consistency.
Jeep 4x4 Day.
Is there anything like why in particular? Did it just strike you? Or
I for some reason, okay, I was in a mood and I was looking through the days, and there were days like, actually, I accidentally saw March 1st, which was National Pig Day, and I really wanted to do that, but I couldn't. There was National Cordon Bleu Day, which I'm still not sure what that is.
it's a food, isn't it?
Is it?
Cordon bleu? I'm pretty sure.
And there was just, I saw this one and I was like, I wonder if I could find a horrible murder case on this. So,
Sounds about right. Jeep 4x4 murder.
yep.
Gotta be something.
Actually, little do you know,
You're gonna tell me though.
I found one. So before we get started with that, this is going to actually sound like I am 100% shitting on Jeeps, and it's because I am.
It's exactly how it seems.
Yes. No, I have friends that have a Jeep, Lauren, and I love her Jeep, but there are just some things that I've found that have come to light. It's very interesting, so you just can't help it. So I'm going to start off with a couple facts before I get into my murder case.
Let's hear them.
All right. So the original design for the Jeep was actually made up very, very quickly, just 2 days before production even got started on it.
Wow.
So it just kind of sounds like they jumped the gun there.
Well, if you've been in the interior of like a Jeep Wrangler, it looks like it was prepped
It
2 days.
was.
Like it looks like it came out unfinished.
Yeah. Oh, and just wait, I wrote in like a note on the side. That's probably why they break all the time. But like adding to that, the iconic, legendary front end of the Jeep, the entire front end was a design that was given to them by Ford And that is what Jeeps have been known for, like the Jeep 4x4s. So they didn't even come up with their own design. They took it from another company.
So Jeep is just its own thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Jeep is just like its own brand. Which actually leads me into my next fact, because no one knows where the name Jeep even came from. Like, they have no idea. Ford's version of the Jeep, before like the design itself was given over to Jeep, Ford named it called GPW. And the only thing that I could find in my research is what the G stood for governor. And that it had something to do with the measurements in between the wheels, which was like 80 something. I don't remember what the measurement was. But there is a theory.
Maybe it's like a spin on cheap.
That was good. I like that.
We don't want to say it's cheap, but what if we just like muddle it a little? Jeep.
Jeep. Well, there is a theory
But they are not.
that it came from a character in Popeye
Okay.
that he was called Eugene the Jeep.
Okay.
And that was titled before the company even like had its own name and that it was widely known. So the CEO of this company, someone brought it to his attention and he pointed to the TV and he just said, "Well, that's a Jeep." And that's where the name, that's how it happened. So
from
they're
Popeye.
yeah, they're not really clear on like how or where it originated from. It just kind of came to be. But are you finding anything?
Says one of the popular theories of the origin of the name Jeep is that it comes from an acronym from General Purpose, GP. Others point to Eugene the Jeep.
Okay,
Nothing new.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
That's weird.
Yeah, like because when I was doing the research for it, I was like, really? Like I was expecting some kind of an original cool thing, or maybe like the owner's last name was Jeep, or
Maybe he just
something.
liked that word.
Like, like when you think back to it, I'm like, at that point, it was literally just a made up word.
Well, yeah, I mean, if you're not going to put any effort into the structure of something before 48 hours of its production, I'm not imagining that you would put too much effort into the name.
How could you produce something that you don't have a name for yet? Like,
It will
how
be
are you going
weird,
to
Chip,
sales
man.
pitch like investors and get production started on vehicle unknown?
I don't know.
This vehicle's badass, and we took half the design from Ford, but it's going to be big.
It's going to be great.
All right.
Indoor plumbing.
So
It's going to be big.
it's going to be great. So there is a sport, like everyone knows this without knowing it, but there's like a sport called jeeping. And it's basically just where people find the worst terrain possible and see if they can get their Jeep through it. So like over a mountain or in through a horrible
Yeah.
creek, and like you see people do that all the time. I didn't know it was called jeeping.
In the South, they call that mudding sometimes.
I call it no respect for your own property.
I call it first date for people 17 or younger.
In the South.
You want to go mudding?
You,
Take you mudding, baby. You want to go mudding?
it's hot. Let me get my boots.
I'm going to get my boots on. Let me get my boots on, baby. Pull the car around.
So, pull the car around. All right. So, with all of those interesting, amazing, awesome facts being said,
Love Jeep. Great.
yeah, it's
They worked on it for so long.
top notch.
Top notch.
So, I'm going to go ahead and get into this case because I have some points that I want to bring up in it. And I tried to be the best storyteller that I could possibly be, given I was in a very morbid situation.
Okay.
Because I was looking for something fucked up.
I'm with it.
All right. So, on the morning of the 21st, police responded to a 911 call of smoke arising from the back of a Toys R Us,
All right.
which seemed very vague to me while I was reading into it, but you're going to find out why.
Is this the morning of March 21st?
This is the morning of March 21st.
Is there a year?
I think it was 2018.
Okay. I need to, I don't know if I'm
Need a
picturing
time frame?
like an old Jeep but 2018, I got
Yeah.
it.
Which, it could, I mean, people have Jeeps of all, like, makes and models, so I really don't know. I don't know
true.
the exact year that, like, it was.
Okay.
But when the police arrived, they noticed that in the back, oh God, this wine,
that
it's so
wine,
good,
man.
it's coming back up. When they got there, they realized that there was a Jeep in the back of the Toys R Us on fire, and that's where the smoke was coming from. So I immediately stopped and I wrote a note on here, like, during this 911 call, they never said where the smoke was coming from. They just said it was originating from the back of the Toys R Us. But I feel like if you can see the smoke, number one, as a spectator, if you notice it, I feel like most of the general public would go see what the fuck it was because they're nosy as shit.
Depends on how big
Or
it is.
if you're going to have a 911 call about it, then they're going to go through the whole thing of, ma'am, okay, do you smoke? Is the building on fire? Is it coming from the building? Like, somehow I feel like if there was any ounce of incompetence in this 911 call, they would have tried to at least narrow it down to where the fire was.
Yeah.
Or because, like, there's evacuation protocols. It was fucking Toys R Us.
Was it
Like
open
a children's
at the
store.
moment?
It was during the day, yeah.
Oh, shit.
So I found that kind of strange. But what they find is a little bit stranger than just a Jeep that's on fire. Because in the back of the Jeep, police found the body of Morgan, no last name in anything that I researched, who had been wrapped in a blanket, unresponsive, with a knife wound in his neck and a gunshot to his head. And he was immediately pronounced dead at the scene.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think that's a little bit overkill there because I'm trying to think on literally vice versa. If you stab someone in the neck, they're going to die. So, what made you want to shoot them in the head? Or if you shoot them in the head, then why would you feel the need to, like, continue to stab them? Like, you've got two separate weapons. Like, are you going to put one up and use another one? Or do you have a knife in one hand or a gun in the other?
Yeah, that's a very strange circumstance depending on. I feel like the stab wound should have happened first because that would be the logical thing for, like, you stab them and maybe they don't die immediately. So then you shoot them to make sure they're dead.
Okay.
But I don't know. I would have to have. I can't form an opinion because I don't know what the stab was. It like a slit of the throat because that doesn't always do the trick, or was it like they stabbed him in the jugular?
Well, see, it never specified. It just said that he had taken a knife wound to the throat. And, like, they said neck and throat. So I'm going to assume that this was an interior approach.
Yeah.
Because if you're gonna throw both of those terms out multiple times, your throat is like the front of your neck. But in the autopsy report, they determined that the fire was not the cause of Morgan's death, which
Right.
would assume, but he had rather been stabbed with a knife first,
Right.
then shot with the head, like you had just said.
Right.
Then his body had been wrapped up in a blanket, put in the Jeep, drove to Toys R Us, then lit on fire afterwards. So the fire happened
He
post-mortem.
was lit on fire, or the Jeep
The
was lit
Jeep
on
was
fire?
lit on fire.
Okay, so that was like a destruction of evidence, I would assume.
I'm going to assume.
But that's a stupid place to dump it.
Yeah. And, like, the thing is, after doing some investigating, the police found out that the Jeep was Morgan's. So he was thrown in his own Jeep and driven to the back of a Toys R Us.
How old is Morgan, did you say? And I missed it?
Morgan. He's a middle-aged man. They didn't give his exact amount, but you can kind of make assumptions based on the fact that as I get just a little bit further, because we're almost there, he owns a construction company.
Okay.
So, like, I mean, I'm going to assume a child is not going to own a construction company.
Right.
So the police start investigating and they start interviewing witnesses. And several of the witnesses say that they saw something suspicious, which was Morgan and a guy named Luis, who was arguing very, very violently about payment for services that Luis didn't receive. So he was one of Morgan's workers,
Okay.
and he didn't get one of his paychecks, essentially.
Okay.
So they had a knockdown drag about that, and apparently it was good enough to where all of these witnesses was like, well, you might want to check
It's
him out.
noteworthy.
Yeah. So going forward with that, 4 days later. Oops.
There you go.
My bad. I'm getting drunk, you guys. We're going down. So, 4 days later, 21st plus 4 is 25.
Good job.
Great.
It's better math than you did last episode.
Yes. You should be so proud.
Progress.
4 days later, on the 25th, the police finally secured a warrant for Luis's house to be searched. And I hate that I couldn't find out what the exact evidence was, but while they were searching his house, they found evidence that linked him directly to what had been happening and the investigation that they had going on. And as soon as they found the evidence, he started singing like a canary.
Yeah, he'd been had.
He did not even bother putting up a fight. He did not care. So, and something that I thought was funny, I actually laughed while I was like trying to research this. Once the evidence was found and he was confessing, he said that he tried to dismember the body before he wrapped it up. But police said that, and like this is me putting this into my own words, but he was so unsuccessful that it didn't even show up in an autopsy report that someone had tried to dismember the body. So I don't know if he's
What,
like...
did he just pull on the limbs? Or
I don't know. That's what I'm thinking. Because I was like, how do you not know in an
Attempt to
autopsy?
cut, like-
Or how do you suck so bad at trying to get rid of evidence that, number one, you wrap them up, take them to the back of a Toys R Us, put them in their own vehicle, and then light the vehicle on fire.
Well, he didn't get his paycheck, so he didn't have the tools.
He's not going to get his paycheck.
He really bit the hand that didn't feed you there.
Yeah. So they have arrested him.
Yeah.
But the investigation 2 years later is still ongoing because even though he's arrested, his hearing is not scheduled until February of 2021.
Is there a reason?
They said that they were getting testimony and that his story has been changing like crazy because at first he admitted to the argument, but then he said he wasn't the only one involved in an argument. So
lots of people just didn't get their checks from Morgan.
I'm going to assume that's what it is. But I'm also thinking because they didn't say this, which you wouldn't if there's an ongoing investigation. What if you think there's more than one person involved in this?
Yeah.
And that makes sense also because when you think about it, if he drove the Jeep and it's not his Jeep and it was left there, did he walk home? If that was the case, then
Somebody would have seen him.
somebody would have seen him.
Does Toys R Us not have fucking surveillance?
You would think so, but not a single mention of surveillance cameras was talked about. And if someone was dropped off and lit a Jeep on fire and walked away, that would be like very, like people would see that.
This is just very sketchy.
Yeah, so I find it strange. I'm almost like 100% positive that that's what has happened.
I would assume that perhaps he's lying because if there's no evidence to support that more people were involved and there's no surveillance of anything happening outside of the Toys R Us, you might want to stall for time. Maybe you're just making shit
Yeah.
up.
I'd go in and fucking shop, and then I would call.
Unless that's the cause of the two different types of wounds. If there was another person involved, maybe they both wanted a piece of this. So one stabbed him in the throat and one shot him in the head.
That's fair, because that would explain two different murder weapons.
Right.
So, I mean, it's not a secret, and I only know this because I watch and listen to any and every single Crew Time podcast ever. Strike that, reverse it. But, I mean, police hide shit from you all the time, and not only is it weird and skeptical and like sketchy to do so, but I mean, I can understand sometimes when it's like pertinent to the investigation that's still ongoing.
Right. You can't
It's
say
fair.
too much because then, I mean, for obvious reasons. Like, you don't want to give out too much evidence and you don't want people to think you're onto something, especially if you think you're onto something, because then that gives them a lead to like cover up their tracks.
Exactly. So, I don't know. I mean, we don't have a choice. They just got to do their own thing. But
You gotta do your job, man.
I found it very interesting because of the way that the case went. I'm like, how do you dismember a body? Well, you didn't. How do you try to dismember a body and no one can even tell?
I feel like that was a lie.
I mean, it has to be. Like, but why would you lie about that to a policeman? Because that just makes you look
Well,
worse.
You're murdering people. You're not concerned with your lies to the policeman.
I would have just stole some valuable shit from my boss's house.
I mean, sue him or something.
steal
Unless
the
this was
fucking
like a
Jeep.
case of like, under the table money payment that was supposed to be made here. Like,
True. I mean, we don't know. Speculating, they could be doing illegal activities.
I don't know. Yeah, you just don't
They
know.
can just be gypping these old people out of the roofs.
Well,
Anyways, that is my case.
that was a nice case. I like that.
I enjoyed it. I tried really hard for my very first storyline here.
So we got the old Morgan.
Morgan and Morgan.
Morgan and Morgan and Morgan and Morgan.
Actually, I don't like Morgan and Morgan.
I don't really know much about it. I seen it I was downtown the other day and it said Morgan and Morgan.
All I know is that Morgan and Morgan has been around for decades, and they recently found a one of those bins that like are sitting on the ship, like the ferry ships that have the huge bins.
Shipment containers.
Yeah, they found a Morgan and Morgan bin on one of the shipment containers that had millions of dollars of drugs on it, and that's an ongoing thing. But it was in one of their own receptacles, if that's what that's called. Damn, boy, shit, thick.
Well, I quite enjoyed that case.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us. Thank you
so much.
Thank you, Caitlin, for joining us. Thank you for your questions at the beginning. I can barely talk. I don't drink a lot.
Sounded like Jenna Marbles there for a minute.
Julian!
What?
No!
Julian! Everyone's gonna hate us. We're not ditching on them. I fucking love them.
I like them too. But thank you guys for joining us. We will see you next Monday. Be sure to have a good week. Stay safe. Keep your hands clean. You can find us on Facebook.
Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, at Clear Your Cash P for Twitter. Actually, if you just look above, all of our handles are above or below or both or neither. Actually, it's going to be both. But we will see you guys in the next one. Love you guys. Be sure to subscribe if you're watching this on YouTube. Peace.
Bye.
Bye.